Hey, Shalom, Makim Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, the great millstone that taught us his truth and that's still teaching his truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes in who the Lord will deliver in his last days. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the great millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another quick lesson. And Lord willing, today this lesson will be edifying and to the point. Today's lesson is going to be entitled, When People Begin to See Miracles, That Will Cause Some to Believe. All right, when people begin to, when people begin to see miracles, that will cause some to believe. As the scripture says, as I have pulled up here in Psalm 110:3. All right, it says, Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. All right, let me turn the notifications, do not disturb one. It says, Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth. And, inspiration just comes by way of just some thinking I was doing, and the fact of how, you have some Jake who, actually has to see to believe. Now, the difference between us and the mass majority of our people is the fact that, like Yahweh Shah said, he said, blessed are your eyes for they see and your ears for they hear, because you gotta be given the spiritual eye to be able to even see. Faith is a gift, and we haven't seen Yahweh Shai with our bodily eyes. We really haven't seen, in our bodily eyes in this go around. I'll rather say right now, we haven't seen anybody being physically risen from the dead. But yet we believe that these things have happened and that these things will happen again. We haven't physically seen somebody with leprosy be healed on the spot immediately. We haven't physically seen anybody that's lame in their feet get healed immediately, but these are things that are getting ready to happen and come. The Lord is going to preside. The Lord is going to give power, unto particular individuals in the body to be able to do these things. As the scripture says, it's a particular office. You see. Let me see if I can find it. This is 1 Corinthians 12, and let's see. Let's see. 1 Corinthians 12. Maybe it's down further. Let's see. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Here we go. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 28. It says, "And the Most High has set some in the church. It says, first apostles, secondarily prophets. All right, secondarily prophets. Thirdly, teachers. After that, miracles. You see, so there's particular offices and gifts. Whereas you have the apostles, you have prophets, you have teachers, you have those who are going to have the gifts of performing miracles. It says then gifts of healings. Going to have those that perform gifts of doing particular healings. You see, helps, governments, diversities of tongues. You see, so all these particular gifts are set up within the body of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to fulfill their office in due time, to ultimately magnify and glorify Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And you'll have particular things that are going to happen, miracles that are going to happen and healings that are going to happen, that's ultimately going to cause some to believe. It's written in their story to actually see and ultimately believe. Okay, now one of the major miracles and gifts currently that's in front of Jake's face right now is the fact that the Lord has set up his prophets in the last days, man. He has set us up as he said he would. Okay, this is Isaiah the 8th chapter. All right, Isaiah chapter 8 verse 18. All right, it says, Behold, I and the children whom Yahweh hath given me are for signs and wonders in Israel from Yahweh of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion. So the prophets themselves, we are signs and we are wonders. You see who the Lord set up to really test the integrity of the nation of Israel, to test their faith. All right, because even though we come looking ragtag, we look, we look like Jake, we look like regular everyday people, but the Lord has authenticated us via his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to show forth his mysteries, which is a miracle in itself, because we didn't do anything to obtain this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It was something that was given unto us, as I quoted earlier in Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, that faith is a gift. You see, faith is a gift that's been given unto us. You know, for us to understand these scriptures, that's a gift. That's a mystery. That's a gift, man. You see, but it's a wonder and it's a miracle before these people's eyes, and they can't even really, you know, Jay doesn't really even fully understand that. But the Lord's going to have it to whereas more things are going to happen, more strange wonders, if you will, are going to take place when the Lord truly gives us power. Remember, what did Yahushua say? What's that, John? Is that John 14? Possibly. I'm trying to. Let me see. Let me see. It might be John 16. Just bear with me. Nah, it's not John 14. I thought it was. Let's go to John 16 and see. No, ain't that one. Maybe John 20. How's it worded? How's it worded? It's at the tip of my tongue. Greater than these. Let's see. Okay, so it was John 14. Salakia. Okay, so, yep, it was John 14. This is John chapter 14. I went down too far. This is John 14, verse 12. It says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also." You see that? He said, if you believe upon me, the works that I do shall he do also. Now let's get this word works real quick here. All right, let's get this word works. All right. That word works is ergon. Okay, that word is ergon. And it says here, it says, let's go. It says, of sundry signal acts of Hamashiach to rouse men to believe in him and to accomplish their salvation. That's the main point of this lesson. Let's read that again. It says of sundry. What does the word sundry mean? It says like in sundry times and in diverse manners and different manners. Sundry is a various kinds or several, right? So it says of sundry or several signal acts of Hamashiach, right? Because hey, when you read in I want to say it's St. John, the last book, you know, in the last, not the last book, the last chapter in St. John, that says that. Matter of fact, let me just get it real quick, just to prove the point. I don't want to be idly speaking. John 21. John 21. Verse 25. Here it is. It says, and there are also many other things which Yahushua did, the which, if they should be written every one, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written. So there's acts that Yahushua did. Now, of course, the acts that are written about and the acts that we read about is just enough for us, all right, to believe upon him through faith. You see, and to believe upon his name and to understand that through this man we have salvation. But there's things that wasn't written that Yahushua did and he was, man, think about it, man. That was a special child. You see? So let's read that again. It says, and there are also many other things which Yahushua did, the which, if they should be written every one. So if every single one of his miracles are written down, right, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written. You see, Yahushua did so many miracles and so many miraculous things and healings that all the books in the world wouldn't be able to contain everything that he did. You see? So going back to this definition of works, it says of sundry or several or several, right? We got that definition of sundry means several, right? Signal acts of Hamashiach to rouse men to believe in him and to accomplish their salvation. You see? So you have individuals that are walking around right now who don't who don't believe, who don't even really know, that are ultimately going to be brought in through the acts of miracles, man, and healings, that are going to believe just strictly based upon the power, which ultimately that's going to glorify Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You see? So going back to the verse, John 14:12, it says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do," which you just got that word works, "shall he do also. In greater works than these shall he do." So the Lord said, he said he will do greater works. Now the works are ultimately going to come from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. It's not going to come of us. It ain't going to be, yeah, look at me, look what I'm doing. No, it's going to come from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But just imagine, what does greater works mean? Greater works mean greater works pretty much mean a wider scale and a greater velocity of a miracle taking place. Like that's what greater works means, man. Greater works, that word is megas. Okay, megas. And it says, you see that, greater things than these. You see, i.e. more extraordinary. That's pretty much the words I was trying to say. More extraordinary, more wonderful. Ultimately, it's going to be Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai doing it, but he's going to put the power upon particular men to do more extraordinary and more wonderful works than even what Yahweh Shai did when he was on the scene, to further show forth the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and to bring forth more glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because the men that are going to be doing these things, we're not going to glorify ourselves. If Lord willing, I'm one of those men. Hey, whoever's lot it is, I'd rather say, to be in that position to do it. They're not going to glorify themselves. They're not going, they're not going to put the glory upon them. They're going to put the glory upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. Let's get Acts, or excuse me, not Acts. Let's get Luke, the 7th chapter. Let's start at verse 11, right? Because this is now this account is only written in the book of Luke. Okay, it says, "And it came to pass the day after that he went into a city called Nain." And now when you get that word Nain, it means I want to say it means beauty, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, beauty. It comes back. It says probably of Hebrew origin, Na'ah, which says pasture, abode of shepherd. Now, who's the pastor of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai? The pastor of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the Israelites. We are the sheep of his pasture, right? Pasture, meadow, but it says abode of shepherd. And who's the chief shepherd? Yahweh Shai is. And this comes from the root word of Na'ah. It says to be comely or beautiful, to be beautiful, be befitting. Okay? So it says, "And it came to pass the day after that he went into a city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him, and much people. Now when he came nigh to the gate of the city, behold, there was a dead man carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow." So when he was entering into the city gate, because each city had gates, when he was entering into the city, pretty much there was a funeral taking place. So he had many people that was walking outside the gate, because you technically couldn't be born in the city. Within the city, it was more customary for people to be born outside of the city, unless your personage was more of a higher reputation, like a king, for lack of better words, right? It says, "And much people of the city was with her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her, and said unto her, Weep not. And he came and touched the bier, and they that bare him stood still." So pretty much this child was being carried in a bier, which is like a coffin to a degree, but it would have 2 poles on one end, 2 poles on the other end, where you have 4 men carrying it. And it was customary to have the men who carried it, it was an honor to carry the dead upon their shoulder. You know what I'm saying? It would be those who may have known him, So Yahweh Shai, he touched the bier, right? It says, and they that bear him stood still. And he said, Young man, I say unto thee, arise. Right? Now, for you guys that's so gun-ho about the law, was Yahweh Shai breaking the law here? Did Yahweh Shai break the law to perform a miracle? Because he did touch the bier, and the law permits you not to touch, not to mingle with the dead. So did he break the law here? Was he going off for all you law guys? Anyways, it says, and he that was dead sat up and began to speak. So just imagine that. You know, here it is, everybody weeping, crying. You know, the mother's crying, she's a widow. You know, and then, you know, Yahushua says, young man, I say unto thee, arise, you know, quam, right? And the boy that was dead just rises up out the casket, right? And he delivered him to his mother. Here's the point. And there came a fear on all. You see that? So when this happened, there was a fear that came upon the people, right? That word there came is lambano. Okay, lambano. And let's see, Luke 7:16. Here we go. It says, you see, it says there came a fear upon them. It says to get possession of, obtain the thing. Metaphorically, it says of affections or evil seizing on a man. But the key is to seize. Like when you get a possession, you seize it. So fear seized upon them when that happened. You see, and that word fear is phobos, where you get the word like phobia, right? And it says fear, dread, terror, right? So fear, right? And there came a fear on all, right? And they glorified the Most High, saying that a great prophet, excuse me, let me read it again. And they glorified the Most High, saying that a great prophet is risen up among us. So when this happened, it was perceived through the action of the miracle taking place that a prophet was among them. Which Yahushua, I mean, of course, he's more than a prophet, you know. But this had to happen so that those could that they could fear, right? It says, and the Most High hath visited his people. You see, and that's how the Lord visits his people, is through his prophets. Okay, let's get that word visit. Visited. That word is episkeptami, right? And when you get that definition here, it says Hebraistically, to look upon in order to help or to benefit. Let's read that again. To look upon in order to help or to benefit. Now, Yahushua is the #1 prophet to ever walk the earth. You see, but the Lord has prophets set up to glorify his name and to push forth his word. So when the prophets are on the scene, they're sent to what? To look upon in order to help or to benefit. Who? Their people. It says equivalent to look after, right? Have a care for, provide for, of the Most High. So the Most High sends forth his prophets. So it was like, man, the Lord is visiting his people again. So how much more today, in today's time? You see, how much more in today's time in the final captivity, right? It says, and there came a fear on all, and they glorified the Most High, saying that a great prophet is risen up among us, and the Most High has visited his people. Even whenever Yahushua was born, it says, you know, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited to redeem his own people. Which that's what Yahushua's name means. He deliver. Okay, verse 17, it says, and this rumor of him went forth throughout all Judea and throughout all the region round about. And I believe through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua that this is going to be, you know, for times to come, which we're very, very close to these times. And we're in those times, I'd rather say, where the scriptures talk about how the Lord is going to get his prophets fame in the land where they were brought to shame. All right, this is Zephaniah 3:19. This is, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame, just as Yahushua got praise and fame, just as the prophets got praise and fame, right, in every land where they have been put to shame. And that's not talking about, you know, physical. It's not. Well, I'd rather say it's not talking about carnal praise and fame, and to a degree where, like, right now, like you have some Israelites that are trying to get fame and praise right now. You know, about how their garments may look and how, you know, their numbers and how many people may be with them marching and things of that nature. That's not how the Lord is going to get his true men praise and fame. He's going to get his true men praise and fame by authenticating them through the power of miracles, healings, things of that nature. And through these miracles and through these healings that the Lord is going to give his men power to do, that's going to cause Esau to try to come down and stop this movement, which is ultimately from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay? This is Luke chapter 5, verse 25. It says, and immediately he rose up before them and took up that whereon he lay, and departed to his own house, glorifying the Most High. You see, because this is a man that was lame, he couldn't walk, and he was healed, right? And they were all amazed and glorified. They glorified the Most High, and were filled with fear. You see, and they were filled with fear. So with these actions, they cause fear to fill them up, right? Saying, we have seen strange things today. Strange meaning amazing. You see? So through these miracles, they were filled with fear. And what is fear? Fear is wisdom is what? Let me just get it real quick. I can't speak clearly right now, so lock you. Proverbs 1 and let's see. Right here it is. Proverbs 1 and 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. You see that? But fools despise wisdom and instruction. You see, so the fear of the Lord is the beginning of being wise. It's the beginning of having knowledge. So you're gonna have people that's gonna see and gonna be like, oh damn, snap. Man, this person couldn't even walk at one time. You know what I'm saying? This person couldn't do this. This person had this going on, and they went up to the prophets, and now look at them, they whole. You know, which is gonna cause a lot of people to come down to the various different camps. It's gonna cause a lot of people to believe, I believe. You know? Let's get another example. It's like that example with Elijah. You know, in what's that? First Kings or Second Kings? Excuse me. So like, yeah, I think it's First Kings, the 17th chapter. You know, where Elijah healed, pretty much brought back to life the widow's son. And pretty much when he healed her, when he brought him back to life, you know, the widow was pretty much like, I know everything. Matter of fact, let me get that part real quick. She was pretty much like, I know out of thy mouth, you know, everything that you say out of your mouth is pretty much the word of the Most High, pretty much. Here it is. This is 1 Kings 17 and 24, and you can read the account yourself. I'm just getting straight to the point. It says, and the woman said to Elijah, now by this I know that thou art a man of the Most High, because this is right after he actually brought the child back to life, right? Now by this action, this miracle, right? I know that thou art a man of the Most High, and that the word of Yahweh and that the word of Yahweh in thy mouth is truth. You see? So you're going to have individuals that's going to just straight believe based upon the power that the Lord is going to place upon his men. Okay? This is Acts chapter 9, verse 40. And this is whenever Dorcas was pretty much raised from the dead, right? Let's see. This is Acts chapter 9, verse 36. It says, Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and alms deeds which she did. And it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died, whom when they had washed, they laid her in the upper chamber. And forasmuch as Lydia was nigh to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him 2 men, desiring him that he would not delay to come to them. So, you know, Dorcas or Tabitha, you know, she was a woman, you know, she was renowned and to a degree within the church. You know, she probably was helping, housing brothers, making garments. You know what I'm saying? She was she was full of good deeds, alms deeds, right? So they called Peter, being the head of the church, because he was near, to come unto them, right? Then Peter arose and went with them. Excuse me. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him weeping, and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them. See, but Peter put them all forth, just like when the Lord raised up Jairus' daughter, he put them all out, right? He put them all forth, right? And kneeled down and prayed. You see. Now remember what the Lord said. He said, when you need your request to be made, don't do it in the sight of men. Go into your closet by yourself, close the door, and make your request. And then the Lord will what? He will reward you openly. Right? So it says, but Peter put them all forth and kneeled down and prayed, and turning him to the body said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes. You see that? So this is, remember the Lord poured out the Holy Spirit from on high. You see? And when she saw Peter, she sat up. You see that? It says, and he gave her his hand and lifted her up. And when he had called the saints and widows, presented her alive. Now just imagine being there and seeing that. Imagine that. Like, imagine you actually physically being there and seeing this event take place. Well, I got news for you. Some of us were there. Some of us did see it. You see? It says, and it was known throughout all Joppa, and many believed in the Lord. You see that? So with that action taking place, many began to believe. Many's faith was, that gift of faith was given unto them at that given moment, just upon that action that took place. Okay? Last one, Acts chapter 5, verse 12. It says, and by the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people. You see that? And they were all with one accord in Solomon's porch. It says, and the rest durst no man join himself to them, but the people magnified them. You see? People had high regard for them. And mind you, brothers, hey, this is coming. This is coming very, very soon. What we reading about, remember that this is the acts or the actions of the apostles. We believe that through the Spirit of power, how about Shemal Shah, that the apostles is here. We know that the apostles is here. So that lets you know that this has to come. This has to happen. Okay? Verse 14 is a point. I'm sorry. Verse 14, it says, and believers were the more added to the Lord. So through these signs and through these miracles that was done by the apostles, many more believers were added to the Lord. Multitudes both of men and women. So you didn't just only have men, you had women that believed too. Just as you got women that believe today. Right? It says, insomuch that they brought forth the sick into the streets and laid them on beds and couches, that at the least the shadow of Peter passing by might overshadow some of them. And that was an extraordinary sign. When Yahushua was on the scene, he didn't have his shadow heal nobody. You see, but the Lord promised, said, look, you're going to do greater works than these. And the Lord is going to do even greater works than these. Than that. What we reading here in Acts, the Lord is going to do greater works than that. That Peter's shadow passed by him and they was healed, man. So, man, we got some things to look forward to. We have some things to look forward to, man. You see? So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the elect. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and that's still teaching his truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the election. All right, until next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.